Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Welcome back to Cross and Multicultural Communication, meeting 5. In the fifth meeting, we're going to talk about connection between verbal communication and culture. As usual, before I start the presentation, let me review first the learning outcome. By the end of this chapter, you're expected to be able to explain the connection between verbal communication and culture. Okay, now to start with, let me explain first about the language, which is an important aspect in communication. Language is an arbitrary symbolic system that labels and categorizes objects, events, groups, people, ideas, feelings, experiences, and many other phenomena. Okay, and language is also governed by multi-layered rules developed by members of particular socio-cultural community. Although broad similarities exist among languages, variations remain in the sounds, written symbols, grammar, and nuances of meaning of an estimated 6,700 language varieties across worldwide cultures. Therefore, we have a plenty of languages, from different countries. And this is the reasons why for us to study foreign language in order to understand their cultures more comprehensively. Distinctive language features arbitrariness. Each language has its own features. Okay, and basically human language is arbitrary in phonemic and graphic representations. And language is also viewed as an arbitrary symbolic system because the words that are strung together have no innate meaning. It is people in a speech community who attach shared sounds and common meanings to words that they use in their everyday lives. Okay, let's talk about abstractness. Language allows humans to engage in abstract thought of hypothetical thinking. What does that mean? It means that with language, you can daydream, okay? You can fantasize about anything, like infinite possibilities of your potential experience of language. Language can also provoke tension, create conflict, reduce stress, flirt with others, and also uplift the spirit of others. So from this, we can say that language has many functions, all right? Not only to communicate, it can also provoke emotions. It can also plan for our intercultural journey, for example, and many other functions, okay? Meaning-centeredness. In understanding a language, we do have to understand that language has a denotative and connotative meaning, and because they're different, okay, and we have to acquire both the dictionary meaning of a word and the subjective meaning of a word or phrase. Number one is denotative meaning. It emphasizes its objective. It's a dictionary definitions, okay, and recognized by the majority members of the linguistic community. It's very important for us to know the denotative meaning of a word first. After knowing its denotative meaning, then we can find the connotative meaning from that. Unlike the denotative meaning, the connotative meaning stresses the subjective, interpretive meanings of a word, which is constructed by the individual members based on their cultural and personalized language experience. So it's more contextual. We have to understand the meaning of this word in context. Okay. Now, again, this is actually a summary of connotation and denotation. Connotation and emotional, we can say, or social association with a word, giving meaning beyond the literal definitions. Meanwhile, the denotations means the specific literal image, idea, concept, or object that a word or phrase refers to. Examples like the word star. The denotation meaning is that it's a ball of light, but the connotations meaning is that it's a wish. A family, it's a group of related individuals for denotation, but in the connotation, it can be love, trust, closeness. Adult. For the denotation meaning, it is for like memo. The connotation can mean friend, protector, pet, and many others. Yeah. Speaking of language, we do have to understand its rule patterns. There are 5: phonology, morphology, syntactics, semantics, and pragmatics. Basically, those are the levels of language. Starting from phonetics and phonology, yeah, covers all sounds, system sounds. Morphology, it covers forms and words. Syntax, clauses and sentences. Semantics, meanings of various kinds. And pragmatics, language use. Now, well, basically, phonology is about sounds, okay? And speaking of sounds, we do have to understand that people, linguistically speaking, communicate with an accent, okay? And to understand an accent, I provide you a link that I want you to watch. And you can see that there are many accents of people speaking English, okay? So please, you may stop watching this video and go to that link on YouTube. Morphology, yeah, can be free morphemes and bound morphemes. Free morphemes means it can stand alone, but bound morphemes, they cannot stand alone. Yeah, prefixes, suffixes. Okay, because morphemes, morphology, as I told you before, it's about forms and words. Yeah, all right. What is syntax? Syntax is the study of sentences patterns of language. It includes to construct phrases, to construct sentences out of morphemes and words. So after understanding morphology, then or words, then you have to understand how to structure, how to construct the phrases or the words in syntax. Semantics, it's about meaning. Okay, the concept of meaning is tied closely to how we interpret the incoming verbal message in a culturally relevant and situationally relevant manner. So to truly understand what someone is saying from another linguistic community, we must understand 3 affective features of meaning. We have to understand the evaluative feature, the potency feature, and the activity feature. Because sometimes when one word has a different affective feature, it can have a different meaning. Okay. What is pragmatics? Pragmatics is about language use, the distinction what the speaker words mean and what the speaker might mean. Because sometimes when we say something, the intended meaning is different with the accepted or received, right? What is received by the listener is different with the intended meaning. That's what I meant. Now, sometimes this is hard to deliver that. Yeah. Now, I'll give an example in here. The phrase "I'm here now" can mean differently depending on the context. It can mean "I'm here now," for example, in the case when a child is visiting a friend's house and has fallen over and hurt. It can also mean "I'm here now." Yeah. Sorry, in the first example, a child is visiting a friend's house and has fallen over and is hurt. The child's mother is phone and she arrives and says, "I'm here now." So the mother is trying to comfort, okay, to comfort the child. But in the second example, a teacher leaves a class of teenagers for a few minutes. While she's gone, they stop chatting and misbehaving. She comes back into the room and says, "I'm here now." It's to show power. That I'm your teacher, I'm here now. So do not do not be noisy, for example. Now, this is another meaning of "I'm here now." Or when one colleague emails another and asks when is good time to meet, the reply is "I'm here now." It also has a different meaning. Yeah. Number 1 is trying to comfort. Number 2 is trying to warn. Number 3 is trying to inform. See, this is actually pragmatics. Yeah, because language is different, it's diverse, as I told you, we have multiple languages around the world. But then what do we have to do then? We have to appreciate diverse language function. Remember, cultural value orientation drive language usage in everyday lives. Yeah, one culture, one country even may have many languages. Yeah, so every language is unique, and we have to appreciate that. Okay, if a culture has a high individualism, there is actually a country which a country where culture has a high individualism value index. There are also countries whose culture has low individualism value index. Yeah, if a culture has a high individualism value index, words and phrases such as I, me, my goal, and opinion, yeah, self-help, self-reference tend to appear as part of everyday parlance. But if the culture which has a high collectivism value index, collectivism, yeah, sorry, not low, but collectivism, phrases such as our work team, our goal, our future together, and we as a group are part of the everyday lexicon. Okay, now read this carefully. To really connect with a culture, we must understand the language of a cultural group. To understand language in context, we must understand the fundamental worldview that drives particular language reasoning processes in particular situations. Yeah. So the cognitive shaping function. Remember, language also serves as a strong filter between what we think and how our thinking pattern is shaped by the grammatical structure of our language system. Benjamin Wolfe, drawing from the work of his mentor Edward Sapir, tested the language as a shaper of ideas hypothesis by comparing the Hopi Indian language with European languages. Wolfe found that language is not only a vehicle for voicing ideas, but also the shaper of ideas. He further emphasized that the grammatical structure of a language shapes, yeah, and constitutes one's thought process. This grammatical structure is entirely culture-based, and as such, language, thinking, and culture are integral parts of a mindset system. Okay, the group membership identity function. Language represents a rallying point for evoking group sentiment and shared identity. Language, yeah, serves the larger cultural ethnic identity function because it is an emblem of group solidarity. So when you can speak one language, then you will be accepted, you will be appreciated by the community who speaks that language as well, because it shows a group of solidarity. Okay, when you are from Java and you can speak Javanese, for example, so you will be uh, accepted by the Java community and they will welcome you, for example, because you can speak that language. When you are um, abroad, for example, and you speak Indonesian, yeah, and then there is also an Indonesian seeing you speaking Indonesians, then he will think that you are his family, and also you will think that he's your family because you share the same language. So this is the group membership identity function. Yeah. Speaking of verbal communication styles, there are two: low and high. Low context communication, or LCC, the emphasis is on how intention or meaning is expressed through explicit verbal messages. Explicitly deliver your meaning. In comparison, high CC or high context communication refers to communication patterns of indirect, tactful, diplomatic tone, self-harming speech. It's totally different with DLCC. Yeah, the direct and indirect styles differ in uh, how they reveal the speaker's intention through tone of voice and the straightforwardness of the content in the message. In the direct style, statements tend to reveal the speaker's intention with clarity and are enunciated with a forthright tone of voice. In the indirect style, statements tend to camouflage the speaker's actual intention and are carried out with a uh, softer tone. Lastly, let's talk about self-enhancement and self-humbling verbal style. Some people tend to show their self-enhancement, which means that their style emphasizes the importance of drawing attention to or exaggerating one's credential, outstanding accomplishments, special abilities. In contrast, self-humbling style emphasizes the importance of downplaying oneself via modest talk, restraint, hesitation, and the use of self deprecations message concerning one's performance or effort. Okay, well. That's the last slide of today's meeting. So you've learned about the connection between culture and verbal communication. Thank you very much for your attention. I'll see you in the next video. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.